Here we go. News right here. So, I mean, we live in the U.S., right? There's protests all the time, especially nowadays. It's just everyone goes to protest, whatever they need to protest. But there's this one guy who has taken protests to a whole different level. And here he is right here. This is Steve Lukather, Guitar World, reporting on this. He was so upset over his service at Western Dental that he decided to take his Ibanez guitar, his Fender amp, and set up shop right outside the dentist's office to protest their crappy care. And you can see the sign here, Western Dental sucks. So the video of it went viral, which is why this is making news. So we'll play this for you real quick here. Hopefully you can hear it. So yeah, he's a pretty good player though. It's pretty classic that he's able to grab the sign and still hold that solo there. I really appreciated that. So what the deal is he's upset at Western Dental because he says when you go in there to get work done, they like almost make you give them a good review on Google before you actually get the work done. So he says that he felt duped. He says because he gave him a good review, so they made him give him a good review, and now he's like, dude, their care is terrible. He says their care was a nightmare for him and his son, and so he's just protesting that their practices are a little shady when it comes to their reviews. He said he looked online before, and there was a bunch of good reviews.
Of course.
And then he went there and he was like, dude, this place is terrible. Like, why do you have so many good reviews? So he's kind of saying, I don't always believe the reviews out there. But I was thinking, like, the only way he could have made this protest even more of a protest is if he would have played jazz out there, because no one likes jazz. Everyone loves rock and roll, so I'm sure he got some fans out of it. Maybe get a jazz player out there and people would really take notice, I'm sure.
That's sick.
So anyway, yeah, that story went viral. Poor guy. Anyway, props to him though for, kind of standing up for what's right. All right, next on the thing, we're always talking about these auctions all the time,
right?
These memorabilia auctions. Well, I got another one for you. Oh no, whoops. Here we go. This is, you remember Rush?
Sure.
The song Tom Sawyer. So the guitar player, Alex Lifeson, is auctioning off a ton of stuff. Guitar.com reports he's working with Julian's Auctions, putting up over 100 items starting May 20th. 60 vintage guitars and a bunch of other musical gear. But 60 vintage guitars, I mean, that's quite a bit of guitars. Anyway, like the most notable one, and these are not going to be cheap. This is the most notable one, 1976 Gibson ES 355 TD. He calls it Whitey. It was custom built just for him in Kalamazoo, used on several albums. Guess what the conservative bidding estimate for this thing is?
100,000.
Between 200 and 300,000.
Jeez.
So there you go. I mean, if you got some extra money lying around, that you could choose either a house or this. Anyway, this is the other notable one. This is a custom 1980 Hentor Sportscaster, not like the play-by-play Sportscaster.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one estimated value between 100 and 200 $1,000. But this next one is the one I thought was interesting. This guitar right here,
Oh, yeah. I've
it's
seen that.
actually a 1981 Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion Electric, which
Yeah. It's got some extra, something going on under that, between the tailpiece and the bridge.
this little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but this thing he's used forever. Took it on tour. He's played it on tours from 1981 to 2007. And I just never knew that Howard Roberts had his name on this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, that was the Howard Roberts Fusion.
Right. You ever played one?
Yes, I have, and it was okay. I have a funny story about that. I played with Jay Roberts at the Quilter amp booth with him, and I plugged my guitar in, my Heritage 575, and he plugged his Fusion in, and he kept saying, why does your guitar sound so much better than mine? And I don't know. It did. It sucked. It had a terrible sound. I don't know. He finally got it adjusted. Those guitars don't exactly knock me out. So anyway, there you have it.
I mean, it looks like is the body big? Is that like
No,
it looks like a Les Paul size.
It's like a 15-inch, I think.
Right.
16-inch, 335 with a cutout.
Uh,
Or one sharp cutout.
Anyway, so one thing that's really unclear about this story, though, with Alex Lifeson from Rush is why is he getting rid of all this stuff? I mean, he's like liquidating his
Right.
whole inventory. So it's like, you just wonder kind of what's going on there. Maybe some financial trouble. Is he retiring? High gas prices, maybe?
That could be it.
But it's definitely kind of an interesting story because that's a lot. I mean, I can't imagine he has much more than that like lying around, especially if he's selling all his best stuff.
Well, Keith Richards has 2,000 guitars. So,
Yeah.
he's got nothing.
But yeah, anyway, so that's there you go. If you have a few $100,000 laying around and you're a big Rush fan, it's perfect for you. So and then I got one more story here. Do you guys know celebrity chef Alton Brown? You guys know who that is? So he's a Food Network guy. Here he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's a familiar face, famous for shows like Good Eats and Iron Chef America. Well, he spoke to SF Gate, and he says that
he's playing a 13th chord there.
says learning guitar will make you cook better. He'll make you a better cook.
Really? Wow.
And isn't that that's kind of a strange comparison, but he thinks that the two things are very, very connected. He says he fairly recently started playing guitar 2011 and that it completely changed his life. He says the pandemic added proof to the connection between cooking and guitars because guitar and music sales, music gear sales went through the roof once the pandemic started. And same thing happened with all these kind of niche little cooking appliances,
Right.
Things like food processors and pizza stones. People were they were selling like
Right.
hotcakes, obviously, because everyone's at home.
No pun intended.
But he says, but he goes on and on about all these different other comparisons between the two. Like he says, there are only 3 things that every person on earth wants to do in a group. They want to laugh together, they want to eat together, and they want to play music together.
Interesting.
And he said he emphasized play music, not just listen to music, but everyone wants to play music with another
Right.
person. And he makes some other interesting points like, okay, they both involve skill that must be acquired. They both have structural forms that need to be learned, though once you learn those forms, you can riff on them as long as you respect the form. So he says,
Oh,
a
interesting.
recipe is a lot like a musical key. Says you riff or write music in that key the same way you develop your own versions of your favorite meals. They're tailored to your own preferences, which is, I mean, it's pretty true. Cooking and music, playing music, or music in general, they take you to emotional places too. So like, you smell an apple pie and you're like, oh, I think of my grandma. Or you hear a song and you're like, oh, I think of my buddy back in the day. So they kind of take you and transport you to other places. So he says he kind of started thinking about all this idea through this book right here, and it's called Guitar Zero: The Science of Becoming Musical at Any Age. It was written by a neurosurgeon who also plays guitar.
Really?
And he proved that playing a musical instrument actually changes the wiring in your brain. He says all of a sudden by cooking or playing, new avenues of creativity start opening up in your head. And not just in music and cooking, but just creativity in general. You start thinking about ways to expand your mind.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so this is him playing a little thing. We'll let you hear how he sounds in a second. But he says, finally, I picked up a guitar in 2011, and it completely changed my life. I was coming to a point of creative stagnation in my life, and when I got the guitar, everything turned around. Things started opening up, and the more I played, the more creative energy I had. So he says, I'm absolutely convinced that it was playing the guitar that did that for him. So you can hear him play, and he's not that.
Okay. I give up.
Pretty interesting, though.
Yeah. Wow, that is interesting. I've always told Gail I want to learn how to cook. Wonder why. Maybe anyway. That's interesting. I think that's really fascinating. I'd like to get that book, that Guitar Zero thing.
Yeah. There it is again.
Guitar at Zero.
Yeah, Gary Marcus. Yeah, I bet you it's pretty good when you get the audio version too.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
cool.
That's it there for Guitar.
Thank you, Wes.
Yep.
Big round of applause to Wes. And again, if you like what he does, please send a tip his way. There should be a link somewhere. Make sure you like what you're doing, or what we're doing. Hey, so yeah, I think a lot of guys are selling off their stuff. Bob Dylan sold all his rights to his music, right? I think Neil Young did the same thing. Right here, David Gilmour sold all his stuff. Well, I don't know. There is that theory that as the younger generation aren't going to appreciate the instruments or the cars or whatever as much as we did, because we didn't grow up with them. They'll have other collectible things like Nintendo games or something, or whatever. But it's kind of interesting, that theory. And it also some people think that about rare coins. Believe it or not, coins, when I was growing up, my mom was a Cub Scout leader, and we collect, one of the things as a Cub Scout troop did is collect coins, and you put them into books and all that. And some people are saying that even coins will lose their numismatic value because they didn't grow up collecting them.
Oh, gotcha. So you're saying that they're getting rid of all their stuff now because they know they could get high dollar for it, and it's probably going to dwindle down.
Yeah, they're betting that's going to go down. Obviously, when you sell something, you're betting it's going to lose value, right? If you hang on to something, you're betting it's going it's going to appreciate. Or there's also the fact that you enjoy it, so there's that too. Hi, Rich here again. I just wanted to say thanks for checking out my videos. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and sign up for those notifications so you can see all the cool guitar videos we put out each week. If you want more lessons right now, I have hundreds of them at guitarcollegelibrary.com. Check out our low-price monthly streaming memberships. And if you want to learn jazz, check out my course, Jazz Guitar Improv. I take beginner jazz players and get them playing awesome solos on the fly. You'll see the link for the JGI course in the description below. Hey, thanks again for watching my channel. We'll see you again real soon with a new video.